make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
You know, I made this way more complicated than it has to be to do this show. So thank you, Jeff, for having us. And hello, James Quinn, our guest today. Hi, James.
Richard, how you doing, man?
I am great now that you're here. And on this special edition of the show, I wanted no one else but you here because we've got a lot to talk about. I first met James. It turns out, and this is, listen, I think the theme of today's show is like the power of connection and staying connected with people. I first met you in 2018 over Skype on my show. You were there to talk about a film you had done called SANDMAN, and then cut to 2024 where I'm hosting another show for a festival that SANDMAN wins, and I see it on the list and I'm like, wait, I know that film. And now we're going to actually be meeting in person in a couple months. So congratulations to on all the success over the last few years.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Wow, it's been a wild ride already since 2018, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I want to first kind of go back a little bit and tell everybody about yourself and how you got into filmmaking.
Yeah, so I'm an actor from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I got into acting a long time ago when I was a kid. You know, we did some theater and some commercials, things like that. You know, but we kind of got away from it for a little while. You know, technology not being what it is today, communication not being what it is today. So, you know, when I started acting, it was a little different. It was in the 90s. And so, you know, if you missed the telephone call at the house or was on the answering machine, then you kind of missed the gig, you know. And so now with, you know, the internet rising the way it has and social media and just more forms of, you know, texting, there's so much more that you can do to get the calls now. So I kind of got back into things in the early 2000s when things started to turn around. A lot of work picked up. So I kind of cut my teeth on the independents for a long time. You know, I bounced in and out of Hollywood productions. We've done theater. Anything you can think of to get our feet wet, taking all these different little productions all the way up the ladder. And so it's been a heck of a journey, man. I'll tell you that much. Started writing our own scripts. So we got into screenwriting, got into producing on our own, which then I got into directing by necessity, just because we wanted to see more fresh type films come to life than what we were seeing, and just, you know, kind of unrecycled material and things like that. So sometimes I think in order to get those type of roles and tell those type of stories, sometimes you got to create them, man. You got to step outside the comfort zone in the box. And sometimes, you know, Hollywood has like a guideline that they use that you have to kind of stay by. And so I think one thing I do like between the difference on the independents is you can kind of go away from the grain on that and try new things. And I think putting yourself out there, especially in today's market, you know, is a good idea. You never know what's going to stick. You throw enough things at the ceiling, something's going to stick, right?
Yeah, eventually, yes, you hope so. I mean, you've been doing it since the 90s. So much has changed, not even in just movie film making, but the way it's distributed, all the streaming platforms. I mean, and you're making films on iPhones now. Like, do you kind of miss the old days, or do you love the evolution of filmmaking?
I'm a little bit of both. I do love the evolution, and what it's done is it's really created opportunities for the independent filmmaker, the independent actor, the independent artist. Because like you said, you hit the nail on the head with, you know, with streaming platforms and with social media. We've kind of leveled the playing field of where people are getting a lot more opportunities now because of that than you would have gotten in the 80s or the 90s or any other time period for that matter. There was really only one place to go then, and it was at the top, you know, and if you weren't on the top of the food chain, you weren't really getting noticed. And so now, I mean, I think for the independent artist anywhere in the world, no matter what your game is, I think it's great. I think evolution is great for all of us because it's helping us to grow and to find our place in the market. And like I said, you're getting opportunities that otherwise would not have been seen before. And so I think it's great, man. Everybody's really able to get themselves out there and show what they can do now. And if you really want it, there's a place for you, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. That's a great point, that there is this place for you. It might take a little while to find that place or your audience, but if you if you stick to it and you really have conviction, it'll happen for you. If you're in so many different parts of filmmaking, is there one that you love more than the other, or is it the combination of all of them?
I think the combination of everything's intoxicating, but first and foremost, I love acting. It's always been my first love in the business, but I also really love writing, man. I love creating stories, developing characters, trying to piece out in my mind who these people are going to be before we even get them to screen. So if there's a second thing I like behind acting, it's writing, man. Everything else I enjoy, but I do out of necessity for the most part. But acting and writing for me is definitely my two strongest loves in the business.
Did you have, or do you have creative, artistic people in your family, or were you the first one to kind of jump out and say, this is what I think I want to do?
In this field, yeah, man, I think it's, to my knowledge, I'm the first. A lot of my family worked in the construction industry, or in the not actually so much the arts ever, but like we did have some family in like the hotel industries, and we had some people that worked around like the dance industry, things like that, but never to what I'm doing here in acting and film. I kind of think it's been like my own thing that I've carved out, because I just have always had a passion for it. I didn't really know anybody coming into the business, so I didn't have that upper hand on what to do. So I found a lot of things out that you can't do, or that you don't want to do, just simply by failing early on. And failing a lot, and that's, I think it's very common in the entertainment business, no matter what avenue you pursue, is you got to be okay with the failure, man, because that's the only way you're going to go up. You got to just be able to take it on the chin, learn from it, and go, man.
Yeah, you certainly can't be told yes to every idea and every project, or you wouldn't have time to do them all.
No, in fact, most of the time the answer is no.
Yeah, yes, and you have to get used to that very quickly, otherwise you're not going to go anywhere. You're in Pennsylvania, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What is the film?
Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And what's it like there for filmmaking?
Oh. It's been growing, man, especially since, I'm going to say about 2010, 2011, we really saw a surgence here in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, the state of Ohio, right next to us too. Like these two markets got a lot of tax breaks all of a sudden, and so the film industry kind of just flooded to us for a while. And for the past decade, it's just really been doing well. I mean, the exception being the COVID period. There's a 2-year period in there where I think we all slowed down in the world. But for the most part, yeah, the industry's never been better in Pennsylvania than it has in the past decade. So that's and it seems to be continuing to grow. And knock on wood, we're still getting the tax credits that we need and things like that to bring the Hollywood films to town. And they're giving them to independent films now, and all other independent artists are seeming to get more credits and things that we didn't used to get here in PA, which is great, man. And that's I think they're really working hard for us upstairs to make that happen. So yeah, it's been a good market. I can't complain. It's still growing. Good.
I think every time I see your social media, there's another award and another award and another award you're winning. So congratulations on all of that. What does that feel like after all these years? There's so much work that goes into it. What does it feel like to win one? Probably, do you remember your first award that you won?
Yeah. It was only just a few years ago, man, because it seemed like there were so many years of not winning and just so many years of your work getting pushed aside, or maybe just didn't get the look at you wanted, or just coming up a little short. So, the first one I did get was for SANDMAN, that we talked about. That was a few years ago, and it seemed like the last 2.5 years, like we're getting a lot of eyes on our work and winning more. But I think that first one hits home. Winning the first Best Actor award and then the first Best Film award, for SANDMAN. That felt great because, I also wrote that film because there was a lot of my own personal story there. So it meant a lot to me. And so to be told by, a group of our peers outside of our own area that, hey, we love your project, we're giving you guys the nod. That was a great feeling, man. Yeah. It was a recognition that we weren't getting early on, and somebody took appreciation for it.
You were on my show to talk about SANDMAN in 2018. When did the film actually come out? 2018 or before that?
It took a while. When did we make it, or when did it finish up in the festivals?
When did she? I mean, it's still out there winning awards, so that's amazing to me. But yeah, when did you kind of
Yeah, we
release
still
it and
have it
start
doing
putting it
circuit.
out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when did what
Oh,
does
that
it
would have
feel
been
like?
around 2020 we started to, and then we got
Okay.
pounded with COVID right after. So we got shelved for 2 years. A lot of the festivals we wanted to go to weren't taking applicants, and the whole industry just slowed down dramatically. And so the last 2 years now, we're getting that run that we wanted to get 4 years ago. And so, yeah, but hey, better late than never, man. And for me, we're actually getting the recognition now. So maybe it was meant to be. Maybe that hold up helped us out. So
Yeah, no
I'm
kidding.
real happy to see it though.
I want to talk about film festivals because I never really knew much about them until I started hosting a podcast about them. And
Yeah.
like, what goes into finding the ones that you know, because there are so many different festivals for different things. What's your process with like looking for festivals and what you decide to put a film into? Like, what's your criteria for that?
Yeah, so I mean, first we look at genre. You know, like what are these festivals accepting? What was their strength in this festival? You know, what are the weaknesses? What do they look like? Do we look like we have a chance to compete in this festival? And also, like, is this festival equally working back with us to market? Or are they trying to find investors and things like that to get on board with some of the bigger festivals that like your projects and want to get you out to the next guy to help you go to the next level? So I kind of look at their marketing campaign and their strategies and what they do to put your work out there too. Yeah, after you would say win or even be nominated for an award at that festival. We want to just make sure that there's an opportunity to not just go to that festival, but connect with them on a higher level afterwards, and maybe get some more eyes to help find the investors or find the streaming platforms that might want our product. And so, trying to find that, just looking at their track record and looking, like for SANDMAN, for example, being a drama and having that supernatural element, I tried to look for things that were really geared toward dramatic works and people that were into the paranormal side of things that really enjoyed the supernatural. And so, it's tough to narrow them down, but we found some really wonderful festivals and got a lot of great feedback. And I've had investors reach out to us now finally. So it's a whole big package, man, of what you're looking at. Like, it's trial and error too. Sometimes you pick the wrong ones, and it was just like, okay, well, it was a learning experience. We went there, we had fun, at least we were there. But some of them really do pan out and help you market afterwards and market you, which is great.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I assumed it was all just to win awards, which is why people did it. But it's so much more than that.
That's a big bonus.
Yeah, of course. But it's also trying to find people that are more interested in making it a bigger. And I understand that now. Okay. I know there were a couple things you wanted to specifically talk about today. Things that you're working on. One of them being the 12th Letter. Can you tell everybody about that film?
Yeah, no, the 12th Letter is about a war veteran that just came back to the States from being overseas. He lost his leg. He is battling PTSD and depression to the most extreme degree that he doesn't know if he wants to be around anymore. And it's based off a novel written by Jackie Hovorka. And the book had come out over the past year or two and was really well received. And I think it's been out about 15 or 16 months, the book. So she came to me, as an author and said, hey, what do I got to do to turn this into, to cinema? I want to see what this would look like on screen. So, we gathered a great group of people and we read the book and we sat down and we said, okay, we're going to shoot it right here in Pittsburgh because we have a crew here. We brought them in from Texas to take a look at it. And so I had to take on, she wanted me to play this lead character of Trey Reynolds who's battling these demons, who's really not sure how to adapt to life since he's been back. And it really puts a lot of emphasis on the 22 a day, and that's the veterans that commit suicide per day. That's the average in the States, and it's horrible. But that's the truth of it right now, and that's what they battle. And so we had to sit down and talk with a lot of veterans and see what they were going through to try to just even attempt to get myself in their mindset. And you can never really imagine what they're going through, because we weren't there. But I mean, if we can help them out and tell their story, and what's really cool about this story is the other part of it is he's renovating an old home in Texas, and he finds this diary in the house. He's by himself and he's just drinking himself to death. And And he started. It's written from a nun who lived in the home about 100 years earlier. They had like an orphanage there. They were taking care of kids, and so he's seen that she was writing her thoughts on a daily basis. So he found the old fountain pen that she had and started writing back to her. He didn't realize that it's an old ink pen. He didn't have any ink. He started writing. All of a sudden, the pen was writing anyway. So he started writing back to her, figuring who's ever going to read it, right? Goes to the bar the next day, comes back, he's getting ready to go write in the book again, and he realizes somebody answered him in this book. And what it was the nun 100 years earlier is actually communicating with him through this diary and through this pen. And they're able to share their thoughts together back and forth, And apparently, some of this is based off a true story, because the nun and the orphan, they were all killed 100 years earlier in a major storm, to take place in Texas. And that was a real bad event. I think it was like in 1897 or 1898. And so that's what this time period. So it's kind of a little bit of time travel, so to speak, in there. It's just, it kind of appeals to that fan, but to be able to communicate with somebody from that long ago. I don't want to give away the whole film, but I mean, they kind of help each other through some really rough times from that 100-year time gap, and then it saves his life, and it really saves her. And it's a beautiful story, man, from start to finish. Stars myself, James Storm. If you're a professional wrestling fan, Cowboy James Storm is an actor now. He's in that film with me. And we had a really great cast and crew from start to finish, man. And it's at the festivals now. If you're ever wondering, it's winning a lot of awards. Knock on wood, thank God, because we're really doing some good things, and it's been well received by the veterans, and that's really who this was for.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you can have a great message behind a film like that and connect with people and hopefully help people, it's even a bonus, right?
For sure, man.
Yeah. What about Strange? I mean, you're so busy. You're also working on Strange Angels, which is a TV series. What's that about?
It is. Well, this is based off another book. And this is the fun thing we've been doing lately. A lot of authors have been reaching out about it. And this is one of the topics I'm covering is book to film, novel to TV, things like that. But this is a crime drama. It's like a modern day film noir. So really like a neo-noir. It takes place around this boxing gym that the Capone family runs, and then they've been taking care of the kids on the street for years. But it's a crime-ridden area, and there's a lot of overdosing on drugs and prostitution and things like that going on, and they're just trying to keep the kids off the street. And so now it's starting to overtake the whole area to where kids are dying, and women are dying, and they're just all falling victim of really bad things around them. So the people that own the gym, I'm not going to say who, but they start to kind of take a little vigilante justice into their own hands and start cleaning up the streets themselves, because the authorities aren't really able to do what they need to do, and the authorities, I think, suspect them of doing so, but kind of turn a blind eye to it because they want the streets cleaned up too. And then they're taking all the kids in and all the young fighters and training them and taking care of business. But it kind of reminds me of like an old like Humphrey Bogart saga, something he would have stepped into, and so it's got even though it's a modern day noir, and also some of the dialect and some of the dialogue and the things that you see in there, the way they communicate reminds you of like a 1940s film noir style. And so just to see that mesh on the screen, it's pretty cool. We just actually dropped the teaser trailer for the pilot not even 48 hours ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's been pretty well received so far. I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet, but
I haven't.
Right now it's on Facebook so we have a Facebook page for Strange Angels called Strange Angels TV series. There's also an Instagram page out there. It's on both of those, and I believe the trailer's been dropped on YouTube as well. I think it's heading to TikTok. If it's not already there, they should be dropping that today. So it's out there. I know they got several thousand views in the first couple hours, so that was great. Just this kind of fun piece. We've only done the pilot so far, and we're trying to finish season 1. So now we're taking to the festivals to see what we can do for this author. It's written by Ernest Keegan. He's an awesome author here in Pittsburgh. He's a former fighter and boxing trainer himself, and he's just turned writer, man. And he's got a really great eye for the crime drama.
Wow. Well, I hope you and the cast of all of these things come back when all that stuff comes out. Did you have a favorite character that you've played?
I got a couple, and I think we've already touched base. We kind of touched base just with the 2 films, but I would say I have 2, and one is Grady Sanders, who I played in SANDMAN. And the reason I say that is because it's as close as I'll ever come to playing myself. Only because the 90% of the story was written about some things that I was going through in my own life. So to relive that on screen, man, that was something extremely surreal for me and my family. And now that it's, doing as well as it has, it really has a special meaning for us. But then also playing Trey Reynolds in the 12th letter and to be able to do what we're doing with the veterans and helping them in that's got a special place for me. So those are top two for me right now.
Good. We finally get to meet each other in person in November, Winston-Salem, the INKpreneurs Summit. Tell everybody about that. And I want to know how you got involved in it.
Yeah, the INKpreneurs Summit. This is the first year for it. It's something I've been hearing about for the last couple of years. It's been on the rise. There's been a lot of talk. It's a lot. It's not just for writers, but it's for entrepreneurs on the rise and people that either experienced or have no experience in the business but want to dip their feet into the business. They want to learn, where they can go to become a writer, to get their books published, to become an actor, to run a podcast. Different things. So we try to, it's kind of like the whole entertainment industry and writing industry coming together and just kind of set the groundwork to show people what they can do to take themselves to the next level. Like one of the topics that I've been working with people is we just mentioned a little bit ago is book to film. So there's a lot of authors out there that have books, but, and maybe they've won awards for them, but and kind of want to see what can we do next for our, book? How can we tell our story on a whole nother level? We'd love to see these characters come to life. So that's kind of where I'm stepping in, is to just kind of show them what we can do, to bring your stories to life visually. And I know, and like yourself being there, as experienced as you are with the podcast, you know what I mean? You've been working at them for years, and to show people how to bring that to life and what all goes into that, because there's so much work, man. And you don't just sit down and start talking, and these are the things that people need to see, is like, what do you go through on a daily basis to make that show happen, right? And writers, the same thing, man. So there's so many creatives coming together here.
Yeah, what I love about when they asked me through you, so thank you for that recommendation, is what I loved about it was that it's bringing together kind of everything you need, right? Like you can go to 12,000 different conferences or summits to learn different things, but Ella's bringing in people doing headshots, people book to film, like all of these different avenues that will help creators with their business and in one spot. And you can go to INKpreneursSummit.com for tickets. There's early bird pricing in September that ends in the end of the month. There's a 10% off. There's all kinds of sales. So you practically go for nothing if you go to the website. And it's 2 days, the 1st and 2nd of November. Have you started writing your speech yet?
I've started outlining. Yes, I've started out. I don't like to write the speech too soon, because if I get in my own head, it's going to change 35 times. So I'm starting to write outlines and topics of, the things that I want to adjust, because, a lot goes down. You can only get so much information out in an hour, right? But Ella's she's devised such a wonderful scenario for us to be able to break everything down, in all these different groups and just get everybody's questions answered. So I'm working hard at it, but I think I'll probably have it finalized the day of if I know me, because there's things I'm going to go back and change in my head so many times, because I want to make sure I can give all the right information to the people, because they're going to have a lot of questions.
Yeah. Not overwhelm them, but also not leave them satisfied with what you have. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really, really fun weekend of learning for all of us, the speakers and the people that are going to be there. What is the best way to keep track of you?
It's a great lineup.
And to keep what's a great way to keep track of you and to connect with you out there in the world?
Yeah, so I'm on social media, most platforms. The biggest way, I'm still Twitter, X, if you want to call it that. I still call it Twitter, but at Real James Quinn. Instagram, I'm always on there at Real James Quinn. I got a Facebook page also, at Real James Quinn. And then I'm on TikTok. I use it here and there. It's not something I'm on every day, but if you want to get a hold of me or see what I'm up to, I'd say Twitter and Instagram. You're probably going to see the most of my work. And, message me or comment, man. I love interacting with people. And if you ever got any questions, I do my best to try to answer them in a timely manner. So, reach out.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. Congratulations on all the success and all of the great content that you are making and great art that y'all are making here. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And congrats to you, man. The show looks fantastic, and I'm glad things are doing great. And I can't wait to see you at INKpreneurs.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple months. That's our show, everybody. Thank you, Jeff, for having us here. And we will see you next time.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. 1 month of advertising starts at $200. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Are you an independent creative looking to take your career to the next level? Whether you're an author, illustrator, or thinking about getting into this industry, it's time to step into the spotlight at the INKpreneurs Summit 2024. This November 1st and 2nd in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we're bringing together the best minds in the publishing industry for 2 days of unparalleled learning and intimate networking. From hands-on workshops with industry experts to interactive networking mixers, you'll get the tools, connections, and insights to turn your creativity into a thriving business. And that's not all. Our Fresh Ink Pavilion is the place for new and emerging authors to showcase and sell their books, right in front of passionate readers and industry pros who are ready to support your journey. Plus, meet our incredible lineup of speakers sharing your secrets to success in publishing and beyond. Don't miss out. Secure your spot today and get ready to elevate your creative career. Visit INKpreneursummit.com to register. Let's give your creativity the success it deserves. See you in Winston-Salem.
Oh my gosh. I hope you get your tickets to the INKpreneurs Summit. It's going to be so much fun in Winston-Salem. I'll be there. James will be there. Our guest tomorrow will be there. It's going to be a really, really fun time. So please join us. Get your tickets at INKpreneursummit.com, would you? Thanks. All right. What else do I have to tell you? Because, we have guests here that are making your day richer. And really a goal is to also bring you businesses and things through advertising that also make your day richer. And we've got some new advertisers that are going to be coming on board within the next couple of weeks. And I'm very excited to introduce you to them. And so look for new commercials coming and people and businesses and things that are going to make your day richer. This show is so exciting and I love it. And I love that I get to do it every day with you all watching and supporting the show. So thank you. You'll notice on the credits that there are even more people here supporting the show. Names have been added and it's just beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you want to advertise on the show, go to makeyourdayricher.com/advertising and we'll get you hooked up. This weekend, if you're around the Waxhaw, North Carolina area, head over to Autumn Treasures. I am your MC for the 2-day event. Saturday and Sunday, all day. I think it starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday and I think noon on Sunday. I'll be there introducing you to some great live music. There's an entire park for your kids, beer tent, crafters, authors. It's going to be an amazing weekend. And on Friday, live in the studio. Should I tell them? I think I'll tell them. The mayor of Waxhaw will be here to talk about it and talk about all the great things that he's doing and the beauty of Waxhaw. So huge news. The mayor of Waxhaw will be here in the studio on Friday. But for tomorrow, we have another great show with Timmy Bauer, who is a children's book author. He's also going to be at the INKpreneurs Summit as well in November. He will be here to talk all about that and his books, publishing books, everything to do with books, and how he actually makes a living as an author and a touring author, which is very interesting. Okay, that's it. Hope you all have a great day. I love you. Go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer because you've made mine by tuning into the show. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.